The economy is a game, and that game is predicated on convincing you to part with your money in ways that are not financially advantageous. That's the whole game. The whole game is convincing you to willingly part with your funds, even though it's not in your best interest. That's always been the game. And there are a multitude of ways we see people do this every single day. But my favorite example is food. Food. How many people you know say they don't got time or money to cook homemade meals, but they got favorite TV shows? They got favorite sports teams. How the hell you got time to watch Love Island, but you can't cook dinner? You can't bulk. And I'm not talking about fancy ass dinner. I'm talking about like you can't make spaghetti in bulk. Spaghetti. You can't cook, you can't saute up some ground beef and boil some noodles. That you can't make a sauce. You can't do that. Hell, you could buy a jar of sauce, but yeah, that is a little expensive these days. But shit, we make sauce. You telling me you got time for television, TV, but you can't make spaghetti. See, we are just so used at this point to lying to ourselves that it's second nature. We say this is the better option, not because it's actually the better option, but because the game has convinced us that this is good for us because it makes us feel good and it allows us to be lazy. But you got to realize the more convenience you get out of the game of the economy, the worse you end up doing lots of times. Most people who are living a life of convenience are not doing well in the United States today. And I know that because most people in the United States aren't doing well financially. You ever heard I'm sure you've heard the saying like, soft men make hard times and hard men make soft times. That applies to people in general. If you are soft, if you're not willing to do the work, it's not a surprise why the times are hard, why you're losing the game. Because the game of the economy is about making choices that do not feel good, but are financially beneficial. See, there's an inverse correlation between most financial decisions, how most financial decisions feel, and their actual output, what they actually end up doing for you. It's gonna feel really, really good to get that flat screen TV, but that motherfucker's gonna cost you. And that money could have been used for something else. See, it doesn't feel good necessarily to put money in a 401k, in an IRA, to buy life insurance. That shit doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to drive this beater, 2007 Toyota Corolla, right? It doesn't necessarily feel good, but it has an impact that is long lasting in a positive financial direction. That's how you win the game. You have to delay the gratification of today. But most people are not looking to do that. They're looking for the convenient measure. And you can tell that by how they interact with the day-to-day. Another example, your phone. How many of y'all got iPhone 15s and up? How much you pay for that? Are you still on the payment plan right now? How long has it been since it's been paid off? When was the last time you had a phone that was paid off? Or have you just gotten used to, at this point, financing every phone that you get because that's what was offered to you? See, they offered you a way to part with your cash so that you didn't have to feel the financial burden of paying the money for that phone. And this financing, that is the way that the game has got y'all fucked. Financing has us absolutely turning ourselves upside down just so we can get the thing and not feel the financial cost. And that's how you lose the game. You're mortgaging away your future. Every time you sign up for some bullshit, you mortgage away your future. Well, it's just 30, 40 bucks a month. It's just, and you got how many just 30, 40 bucks a month you got? How many subscriptions you got? What's your car note? What's your mortgage? Add all your bills up that, again, are just in subscriptions and monthly payments to debt. How much of your budget is just that shit? And imagine a world in this economic game where that money was put back into your wallet. Imagine you did not have debt payments. Imagine you did not have financing payments. Before you tell me that that's not possible, imagine a world where you had that. Because let me tell you, I have been debt-free, consumer debt-free for 8-9 years, mortgage-free for the last year. And I can tell you, although I still have the same stress that most of y'all have when it comes to you still have to work to provide for your family, there is no product out here that got a stranglehold on me. I do not, and this is the real, just deceptive part of the game. If you allow enough convenience decisions to creep in to your decision making, eventually you will start serving those convenience products more than you serve yourself. How many times have you heard people say things like, I got to make decisions between if I'm going to pay my phone bill or my light bill or if I'm going to get groceries? The truth is, you never should have had that phone in the first place. We need a smartphone. We need a smartphone. Do you? Do you? Are you sure? Because you're about to be without food, lights, and a phone. So tell me, which one of those is most important to you? When things are good, or at least we have our heads above water, we ask questions like, how much a month, instead of what is the total cost? And it's those decisions, those seemingly small, seemingly unimportant decisions. It's those moments that drown us, because we don't realize that we're giving up our position in the game. People will make these kind of decisions and then turn around and talk and say things like, why does the economy, why is our economy not human conscious? Why do we not care about people? The truth is, you didn't care enough about you. So to expect someone else to make better decisions for you than you made for you, that's a lot. A lot of you all don't realize that because you're losing the financial game, the economic financial game, you are putting yourself in a position where you're asking everybody else to participate in a toxic relationship. You would never allow a person to come up to you and be like, hey, I'm going to continue to destroy myself, but I would like you to fund it. You never do that. But that's what y'all do with y'all finances every single day. You make decisions you know are not good for you. And then you will get online and complain and say the government should do more. So essentially, the people who are responsible enough to pay their taxes, the people who are responsible enough to not make the decisions, and yes, of course, some billionaires and millionaires, but again, remember, they're millionaires and billionaires because you all gave them your money. You want them to service you. Nobody is going to sign up for that because people don't want that kind of toxicity. And if that bothers you, you got to ask yourself, why is the economic game so unimportant to me that I expect somebody else to win it for me? Why is this so unimportant to me to win in my own life? But when things go bad, I expect someone to go to bat for me. Because listen, we're all players in the game. You can't ask somebody else to give up their progress for you. No one's going to do that. The rest of the people have families too. And if you turn around and say, well, what about the billionaires? Again, you had a hand in getting them there. So the next time you're faced with a financial decision, just ask yourself, am I doing this so that I can have a good today? Or is this serving me for the next 3 to 5 years? If you cannot make a case for you being in a better financial position because of what you're about to do, the answer is you probably need to walk away. I'm not saying that the finance game is the only thing that's important, but damn, some of y'all should know by now that when you don't have money, and shit feels like you can't breathe. So get yourself stable first. And then we can talk about how important it is to money versus time versus everything else. Once you get stable, then we can talk about those things. Win your own financial game first. Later.